The Nicky Byrne Show with Jenny Green on 2FM.
Proudly sponsored by Aldi. Great quality food for less.
Happy days. Right, ladies and gentlemen, 11:23, joining us live in studio, David Gillick, everybody. Hey!
Thank you.
David, we were throwing all sorts of health questions at you there.
You were?
Before we actually went on air.
I'm looking over to see what you got there, you little stash.
How do you now listen, don't judge me on this.
These are lovely.
It's cake day at my kids' school and they made loads of Rice Krispie cakes and stuff. So I brought one in, one for me, one for Jenny.
That's lovely.
We usually wouldn't have a chocolate Rice Krispie cake. The rest is all right, isn't
It's a
it?
special occasion. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. You've got to, you've got to enjoy yourself as well.
You've got to treat yourself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Porridge and bananas and apples. Anyway, David, how have you been?
I'm good. Everything's going really well, actually. Nice start to the year and looking forward to the next couple of months. And today we're launching the VHI Women's Mini Marathon. So, that's something from my club. Dundrum Athletic Club has been behind that for years, and as a young guy I used to
dream of running a women's mini marathon.
Well, not quite, but we used to hand out the bags in the women's world. Yeah, so like I've actually come full circle. Now back then I didn't really know what was in the bags, so I was a little bit uneducated, but it's great, and it's such a great thing to support. It's getting people out active, and as you have done before.
Yeah, once.
Tell me about this, Jenny. Now I know we're going to speak more to David, international athlete, in a second. You did this women's marathon.
I did it.
How did it go for you?
I did it a few years ago because I was asked to do it in here, and I said, "Yeah, that's fine, I'll do it."
You didn't train for it?
I kind of did. I had great intentions. It just didn't work out too well, but it was fine because there's a couple of us that did it from here, and Ruth Scott did it as well, and Sharon from upstairs, and then my sister, who's extremely fit, said, "I'll come up from Cork. I'll run it with you. I'll put a pacemaker thing. I'll make sure your heart monitor, make sure you're fine. You can follow me the whole way." So she was kind of good, like to be running with. She was great to be running with, but we both got our numbers when we started that day, and she would have ran it like so much faster than me if she not been waiting for me, kind of walking half the way as well. We crossed the finish line holding hands. That's how much we were bang on time. And when the Herald Times went out the next day, they'd obviously given me someone else's number, because according to that I ran it like 8 minutes faster than her. She was like, "That is not fair."
It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. But whoever got mixed up with me must have gone, "That was not my time."
But that's bragging rights in your house forever now at Christmas time.
That piece of paper, that newspaper article in the Herald is framed on the wall at home.
David, how many people do this marathon usually?
40,000 people, and as you mentioned there, a great social aspect to it. Also charity as well. There was 12 million raised for charity last year, so it's a brilliant concept. And 40,000 women on the streets of Dublin. Say that the chat must be unbelievable throughout it. But no, it's great. And I think what VHI are doing this year is fantastic, because we've now got a little support team.
So it's like all these experts that have gotten together.
Yeah, to help.
Who
out.
are they?
So we got myself, and I'm looking after the whole kind of diet aspect, a few recipes, meal planners. You've also got Maeve Higgins, comedian, for a bit of moral support, very important.
Got to laugh all the way through. You need a good laugh, that's what it's all about.
Louise Hegarty is helping out, doing a lot of the kind of fitness element to it, training plans, things like that. Then we've got Dr. May, who's helping on the medical side of things as well. So all this kind of information will be available on an app as well, which is it's ready to roll right now, so people can download it. And as I said, tomorrow the entry's open, so you can go on to VHI womensminimarathon.ie to sign up.
They go so quickly as well, because I know every year you start getting calls from friends and relations I haven't heard from in years going, "Is there any way you can get me onto this?" I'm like, no, because I think it really does. Everybody wants to be a part of it.
It flies, and that's the thing. You kind of get in early, and then start your training now. Have a look and get onto the app and see what kind of, like, from a meal planning perspective, from a training plan, and just get the wheels in motion. And I suppose buddy up as well. Find, as you said, your sister or anyone that everyone knows someone who wants to kind of get fit as well. It makes it easier when you have a buddy there, because you know that if you say you're going to meet them outside the park,
you can't stand them up.
You can't stand them up. So there's a bit of guilt there. But no, and I'm really looking forward to kind of helping out and kind of educating people on what to eat on the day of the race. Kind of throughout a normal
What should you
week.
eat? Like, what kind of food, if you're planning for some, or even in the preparations beforehand, should you change your diet a bit just to get ready for it?
I think over time change your diet. I'm not saying tomorrow go out and radically change your diet, because it's very hard to sustain something like that. But if we can start implementing change and making good choices, so what food we're actually eating, real kind of unprocessed food is what I'd always say. So even on the day of the race, kind of what to have in the morning time, to give you the energy to sustain. Like, I think the women's mini marathon, like it's an endurance run, so you need to make sure that you're fueled up and ready to roll. And then also kind of from a balance, like you said, it's important to have treats along the way and reward yourself. But if we can kind of go the way I always would have done it, Monday to Friday, really looked after myself. Anytime I was training hard, what to eat, what to recover, to get up the next day and go again. So little tips along that way.
David, you're obviously former Irish sprinter and you're ex-European champion. So on the morning of those races, what would you have eaten?
What I would have done, right, and this is no word of a lie, I would have brought my stuff with me, all my food, because if you're travelling, you don't know what's going to be available and you don't know what the hotel's going to provide. Plus, I like to sleep. So my races when I was on the circuit, say, was kind of generally in the evening time. So I would have always planned to kind of lie in. So I would have missed breakfast. So that's why I would have brought my own. And that would have literally been, I would have had a banana, I would have had porridge oats and, some sort of protein. So be it eggs or something like that. And that's kind of what I would have made. I would have had literally a cup and I would have put my oats in there and used the hot water and maybe a bit of whey protein or something like that.
See, Jen, look, it's exactly what I have every morning, lads.
I've got the banana, you've got the porridge. There you go.
Two bananas in the one room.
There you go.
So that's kind of what I always would have had, and then eating throughout the day and kind of kept it clean food, normal real food and kind of no messing. And no drastic change in it as well.
What about milk and stuff? Nicky was asking you there off air, and it's an interesting one about low fat and full fat milk. Now I don't.
And slim line and super milk. What?
I wonder what
should you stick to?
I don't drink any milk at all. I don't know if that's probably worse, but
I always just go for the full fat, the normal stuff, the way milk should be. I think when we start kind of like messing around with various kind of slim line and all this sort of stuff, it goes through a process, and I think that's where kind of man starts implementing change in it. And I think you're better off just sticking to real food, real honest food. So to be honest with you, I don't drink a whole lot of milk because of the lactose, and that has an effect on me as well. So lactose intolerant and stuff like that, and there's a sugar element to it. But with me, I always stick to like full fat everything. So butter, yogurts, things like that. Just keep it to the real stuff, because if you look at like low fat yogurts, if you flip it over and look at the ingredients list, sugar is really high up there. Right. And that's what you don't want to be messing around with sugar, because your insulin levels come up in there. It's like the tin of roses. You never go for one and then just walk out. It's always like you go back and have another one, and before you know it, there's a big dent in the tin. So it's kind of little things like that. I just keep it real. Like full fat milk is no problem. That's what I always have.
So just maybe have a bit less of something, but have the full thing.
Absolutely. Like it's everything's in moderation. Like I suppose for someone who might drink a lot of milk, it's a case of kind of balancing that a little bit as well. So it's just kind of been wise to the product, and actually understanding kind of what you're putting into your body as well.
Yeah, and the app, I think this is where the app will come in very handy for people, because what have we got? 16 weeks or so to the race. Yeah. So registry opens tomorrow, but the app, I suppose, supplies and provides you to say all the info on what really your diet leading up to that. Is it a part of that?
Yeah. So what I'll be doing is kind of like weekly plans. So I'll give a Monday to Sunday what you should be eating. Breakfast, lunch and dinner, and a couple of snacks. And then I'll also be putting up some articles about kind of like how you design a plate of food. So what you should be looking for in each plate of food, because it's not a case of me just kind of providing people recipes. I want to educate people so they can make the choices. And even when you're going into shops, what do you put in your basket, or what carbohydrate should you be going for, as opposed to say another carbohydrate, which would be better. So just your top tips. And then also kind of, it's very important, over 16 weeks, there's a lot of time there that you might get a bit fed up. Training could get kind of hard and you're just like demotivated. So it's very important to provide a bit of moral support. So tap into the app and there's tips there. There'll be articles about how you can kind of motivate yourself and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Keep going.
The other important bit, I think, when you're training is about the music.
Yeah,
and I have to ask
true.
you, just before we let you go, is there anything that you kind of always would put onto your playlist?
There was loads.
If I'm honest, go on.
Okay, honestly,
all right, I want to know.
This is a funny one. I always had River Dance on it.
Yes, that is inspiring. It is, though.
That
it is absolutely.
So Paddy Irishman would rock into the call room doing the old jig,
There is something about river dance that does
Isn't
get you
there?
going.
Yeah.
And I think everybody enjoys it when you're Irish. It's in the blood.
See, the last time we played it on the show, we got given out to. Otherwise, I would like to play
That's
it
only
again.
because the whole office upstairs were dancing, Jenny. You can't have them dance. Listen, if you want to download that app, it's called VHI-WMM 2015 app. It's available now. And if you want to register or find out more info about the marathon, it's VHIWomen'sMarathon.ie.
Yes. David Gillick, thank you so much.
Thanks for
and we'll
having me,
see
guys.
you on the day. We might both be running.
Yeah.
Finally, it's Extraterrestrial Culture Day. Did you know that?
I didn't know
And
that.
speaking of aliens, you're here. You're obviously an alien. I mean, you're not human, are you?
Oh well, that's nice. That's a nice part.
Isn't that a nice
part
party?
words of wisdom, isn't it?
Just for the record, he said that. I didn't. I'm not taking the blame for that one as well.
David Gillick, everybody! Cheers, Dave.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a mil.
much.
Thank you very much.
Still to come, by the way, you can win €2,000 worth of flowers, chocolates, anything you like from Aldi. And it is Valentine's weekend.
Yes.
This weekend, Jenny, so that could come in handy.
Very handy.
David, any plans?
Oh, on the spot now. On the. No.
Oh God, no! She hates it. Actually, in year number 1 of our relationship, I bought her a card and she didn't buy me anything in return. So I still haven't forgotten.
Do you know what you need to do? You need to go down to Aldi
Yeah.
and get her something nice.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what you need to do.
There you go.
Cheers, Dave. Jesse Ware.